welcome to Haunt Talk. Today we are doing a review for the Scare House, which is in Pittsburgh, PA.
Our review system is going to be based off a few different categories, sets and props, the actors, the scare factor, design, and then we're also going to have an overall score at the end, but that's not necessarily a sum of all the scores. It's not like an average. It's just basically what we thought of the haunt overall. Another thing we're going to be touching on, and not actually even a rating to any of the haunts that we're reviewing, is customer service. Just how that was as an experience. Not necessarily, it's in a consideration, I guess, in probably the overall score, but
yeah.
Probably not that. And before we get into the review, if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please do. We're going to have lots of reviews and lots more content. So we make short films. We also have a 2-hour-long haunted house documentary right now online for free to watch on YouTube. I'll have the trailer linked below so you can see that. And if you're interested in the trailer, you should go check out the documentary. Put a lot of hard work into it. And also like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. So with that said, I guess we'll just go ahead and get right into the review. And we will start with sets and props.
Overall, we gave it a 7.5. Normally, Scare House is a lot more elaborate. This year was kind of a disappointment.
Right. Their theme, which they usually, Scare House, they have one, I would say, big theme out of all. And they have two smaller themes. And this year's big theme was the Sunset Lodge, which I did really like. The lobby, that was really cool.
Yeah.
A lot of what you would expect for a retro hotel, taxidermied animals, just really weird, like that, that kind of
low lights, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
There's a piano. I think did it play itself?
It didn't.
It didn't.
I was expecting it to.
One thing that was cool, small detail, and this is the things that Scare House usually is really well known for. And again, this is in the lobby. Was there is a telephone on the wall, like a pay type phone. But then if you looked closely, there was blood on it, blood on the thing, and that too. Yeah. Just these little hints that because for the most part it looked like a normal hotel lobby, but then there's these things that it's this isn't a normal hotel lobby. So that was pretty cool. But then you get into the haunt itself, and I don't know what did you think of the first haunt itself? What?
It was okay. The theme was it was basically like a hotel overran by serial killers.
Correct.
And a lot of the rooms seemed empty.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the theme they had before, the name's escaping me, basically it was kind of it almost had a theater type of feeling to it, and it was the Summoning, I believe that's what it was called.
The Summoning, yes.
And it was really cool, really elaborate. They had an entire stage built in there, just so much cool stuff. This one, now there was some cool things, and we'll get on that, but so many of it was someone murdered someone in a bedroom.
Yeah.
And it was just a whole bunch of different bedroom scenes, it seemed. There's at least, I think, 4 or 5 bedroom scenes.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of wasn't I in this room already?
Right.
And I don't know if all of it was their fault. I mean, it is their fault, but if you're trying to do a bedroom, it's this bedroom's wrapped in plastic and, it's like a Dexter TV show type scene. How much detail and cool shit can you really do in that if it's a bedroom in plastic wrap?
Right. My main thing was when you walked in, you kind of were entering into the basement of the hotel, and they spend a lot of time in the boiler room and laundry room.
Yeah.
There was tons of hanging laundry and things like that. And the rooms just kind of got lost after walking through all this dirty laundry, so to speak. It was just kind of, I don't know.
There were some highlights. There is I think it would be how to describe it, the honeymoon suite.
Yeah, the honeymoon suite was probably the best room.
It was really cool. You walk through a neon heart, and there's this huge, a really cool big jacuzzi bathtub with this real gross fat thing. I mean, I think it was supposed to be a person, but it didn't really look like a person, and I mean,
that was cool.
And then the next haunt they had that you venture into, now there's not lines between the haunts. They advertise as having 3 haunts. Well, 4 if you include the basement. We're not reviewing the basement, we should state, because it's a separate thing. It's more of one of those full experience, where they touch you and just do creepy stuff to you. That's not our thing. We didn't do that. We're just reviewing the regular haunted house mirrors.
Right.
But the next thing was Nocturnia 3D. I don't 100% understand what this theme was.
It was supposed to be clowns, but it was like half animated, half circus. It was
circus, odd. I guess, I got from it.
Yeah.
And if you went to the scare house before, they had a trick or treat from the movie kind of segment, which is cool. It's like a storybook, like 3D storybook kind of thing, and that was neat. And there was a lot of that, but without the charm, because they used, I think they recycled quite a few sets, right?
Well, actually, all the sets were outside. Some of the scenes, where you had to walk into tunnels and stuff, that stuff was in there, but they just repainted it.
Yeah, and it's the forest and stuff. I think a lot of that was in it before. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it. It didn't do much for me.
It's been overdone. Yeah. Honestly, I've seen it at God knows how many, and I just thought it was kind of overdone. Yeah. It's just which. Usually Scare House is pretty original, but this one, I don't know. Nothing stood out to me, so it's hard to even remember anything to really talk about set prop wise. And the last one was Infernal, which was what was supposed to be like a museum. It was supposed to be a museum of haunted items, kind of like the Warrens, if you're familiar with ghost hunting. That kind of gets taken over by a portal to hell. So theme is really cool. I like the theme. Execution-wise, I don't know. Again, this is where the Krampus haunt was last time I was there, and a lot of things you could tell this was the Krampus haunt. There was I think I did like some stuff in the last one. There were some cool things. It was cool, the part that was the museum, because they had a lot of cool props that were if you're into ghost hunting, you'd be familiar with some of the haunted props and stuff like that. But once this so-called portal opened, it was just kind of surprise, demons. It was just kind of there was no good transition. Yeah, there was. And that's the thing that I noticed with a lot of it. Is the transitions weren't. You don't have to do a lot, but I don't know. I didn't really get it too much, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so then we're gonna move on to actors. We gave them a 6. Again. A lot of empty rooms. Yeah. A lot of them still saying the same stuff over and over again. Nothing really creative. There was a guy standing in the bar who just kept yelling at people to buy him a drink. Every person that walked through. Every person. Just kept screaming, buy me a drink. And you can be more creative with it. I mean, there's other haunts that you go to and I don't know, you can be more creative. You don't just have to scream, I'm going to kill you, or please help me if you're playing the victim, which the please help me type thing was really, really overused in the first one because, there's all these murder victims and please help me. And then maybe the person that they need help from is I'm here. And you're just okay. Yeah. It was kind of meh. Yeah, there wasn't, the cute actors are good. Mr. Bunny Dude, he was awesome. Yeah, as always. The cute actors are always good. They had valet parkers. Why don't you say that? Parking attendants. Yeah. Valet parking attendants. Yeah. They were fun. They were fun. They're they're real into it and stuff. And they were really awesome because, and it was really fitting and kind of unique too because, you're walking into the first thing's the hotel and then, they're out there. Oh, give me your keys. We'll go park your car. And then someone getting to run away with them or something. It was cute. And I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, actors. I mean, no one did a bad job. I think also with the sort of the wishy-washy theming, they weren't given enough room to really do much. Yeah. They weren't given enough original material to really, if everyone's the victim, there's only so many things you can say if someone's trying to murder you, so, I don't know, could have been a little bit more creative, I guess. Next thing we're going to talk about is the scare factor, which we gave this a 6 as well. Scare House has never been one for being super scary and intense. And again, not including the basement. That might be super intense. Might make you piss yourself. I don't know. I don't know. But it's always been, we described it if there's a horror movie, then there's art house horror movies. The Scare House is the art house haunted house. But this year it was kind of lacking in that, as we've already talked about. So it kind of didn't make up for it like it usually does. And I mean, there were a couple people that got me. A couple unique hiding spaces, but generally I didn't really get surprised or startled. And there's one girl in our group, and dear God, she falls on the ground when anything happens. And she didn't really have any reaction
basically anything.
No. Yeah, nothing at all.
Yeah, I mean, was there anything you can think of that like really creeped you out?
At this one, no.
Yeah.
Honestly, there was nothing really.
Yeah, cause a couple. I mean, there's a good atmosphere of these smell machines and stuff like that, you know, and like there wasn't much that really. There really wasn't much that made me think, oh no, or make you feel that awesome when you get that false sense, like when you feel in danger, you know you're safe, but you're like, oh god, you know, and I just didn't really get any of that, and there wasn't really many good jump scares in it, so meh.
Next we're going to talk about design, which kind of goes along the same lines as the sets and props. We gave it a 7.
Yeah, and the difference like in design we'll talk about is it's really of like how you go through the haunted house, like, you know, were some interesting things like uneven terrain, or, you know, like how, and we kind of mentioned transitions, but that also kind of goes into design, and, you know, just how unique was it, you know, was it laid out well, was it thought out, you know, how well was it thought out and stuff like that.
Was the lighting effective for wherever you were supposed to be? He touched on scents a few moments ago. That's another factor. Does it, like, change the way that the atmosphere is if you're all of a sudden smelling popcorn and you're in a circus?
Right, which just these little things that add. So the design was fine. Nothing super spectacular. I mean, I just always like when places have that little extra element of like maybe the floors are a little bit wonky, you know, just something that feels different and breaks up the monotony of just walking. And like before, they had like the curtains that you pushed your way through, like the interactivity of the haunts, and didn't really have that too much this year. Interactivity that wasn't really there.
Yeah,
and
the only part was like the laundry room. You did have to push yourself through a lot
a
of
bit
laundry.
Of yeah,
a lot.
Like the curtain was really cool because there's just curtains that like, because they have theater curtains from last year we went, you know, and you're just pushing through and you don't know if anyone's going to be there, but
yeah,
didn't really get that this year. And again, the transitions weren't, like as we said, those weren't great. So I mean, it was fine for what it was. I mean, you funneled through, and there were some cool sections, but nothing that really stood out. So I mean, it's above average, but not great. Before we give our overall score, we're just going to touch on a couple things. Like I said, customer service. Us doing reviews, we want to try and bring you better content this year with Haunt Talk. It's been a couple years since we've done it. And I want to try and get like interviews with people if possible. And I understand like if people don't have the time for it, people don't want to talk to us, you know, they can't, that's fine. But I messaged them and they never messaged me back. I've run into this problem with a few places, you know, just like, hey, does anyone have any time to talk to us? You know, well, and they read it and they don't say anything. Like, that's not good customer service. Like, we're just, you know, I mean, if you don't want to, that is fine. You say no, but just leave it on red, you know, on your Facebook. Like, sure, cool, I guess, that's nice. It is weird. You do not park at the Scare House, and that's because they have limited parking. This isn't their fault, but it's a thing that you should be aware of. You will park at the Pittsburgh Zoo, so if you're going there, don't punch in the address for Scare House. You go to the Pittsburgh Zoo, and you park there, and then you get on a bus, which takes you all the way to the Scare House, and then you go that, and then a bus will take you back. Also, buy your tickets online, because you have to buy a time slot, and it goes 30 minute intervals. Yeah, 30 minute intervals. And it's just much better to buy it online because you're going to have to go on what they call standby, and you pretty much always get last on whatever bus is there. So if there's people before you, you just continuously get last, and it just takes a lot longer to get through. It already took us a while to get through because you're like, and I don't want you to be under the impression that, oh, okay, I have an 8 o'clock time slot, well, I get to go there and just be in there at 8. No. That's your time slot. You get to load the bus, and you'll be in line for however long you're going to be in line for. It's a wonky system, but it's what they have to work with, and they do it. Also, price of the ticket is $20, right? It's about $20, which is average. Yeah. It's not real high. It's not like real low. It's average.
I want to say it's like 18. I think it starts at 18 for like a basic ticket for the 3 haunts. That's not including the basement. The basement is extra.
Yeah, the basement is extra. And of course, there's fast pass tickets and all that. But that's besides the point. You know, every place has that. But our overall score, with everything factored in, is 7. And again, it's above average. You know, other years it's been much better. Because I would say, like 6 is average, I guess. Pretty much. 5, 6.
Yeah, 5 is
like exactly like the average.
Yeah.
6 is like above average. 7 is like average plus.
Yeah.
And that's just where this falls in. You're not going to go in and just, this year at least, you're not going to go in and just be wowed. But it's not a horrible time. You're not going to probably regret. You're not going to be like, God, I wish I wouldn't have went there. You're just going to be like, oh, that was a good haunted house. That was good.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're making a trip out to Pittsburgh to specifically go to this haunt, plan another haunt when you're going to. Just because you might be disappointed. You know. And, I mean, there are quite a few haunts around that area that,
there's a lot in PA, and one that's pretty close to it is 100 Acre Manor, which we will also be having a review for. It's either online when you watch this, or it'll be online soon, depending on how soon you watch this. But I think that's it for this review, and like I said, make sure to subscribe to us, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Links are down below. Watch the documentary, and we'll see you next time.